Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Megan. If you didn't know, now you know. And today we have Azure Beauty, a dip powder kit. They did send this over to me. It is a kit that I don't currently have, but I do have dip powders that are pretty similar. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you how to do French nails with dip powder, and then I'm going to give this kit away. Stay tuned for the rules for that. Let's open it up though. So here inside we have some items. We've got some extra brushes. We've got this little mini file, which I'm not going to use because it comes with the kit. Here is the card if you want to look at that. And the other side. Of course, it comes with instructions. Pause to read if you would like. They gave us this fancy little paper, which hasn't come in one of mine before, but I think it's interesting because it does show you that the difference in the amount of layers you put makes a difference in the visual result. And then here is the colors. So there are 20 containers. Let me move that out the way. And so I've made swatches of these and I'm going to show you what they look like. We've got dip base, activator, what they call a gel top. It is not gel, it's just base or dip powder top coat, and then a brush saver in case it starts to stiffen. There is a cuticle pusher, but of course I'm going to use my own because I already have plenty. There's a dust brush. I have one exactly like it. I'm going to use that as well. Here's a buffing block. I already have this as well, so I'm going to leave this one clean for whoever wins. And then there is this dip tray. I am going to use the dip tray, but that's not going to harm it. We'll dust it off. So I'm just going to go through the swatches and show you 5 sticks at a time. These are not in any particular order, and I only did one dip of each so that we can just get a general idea of the colors that are available. And then here are the next 5. These two are quite similar actually. And then 5 more. Very beautiful. And then here are the last 5. And actually out of all of these, this one is my favorite. It's so pretty. It appears to be a little bit more berry-like in the camera, whereas in real life it's more coppery. Okay, so these are the 2 colors I've chosen to work with. We're going to use the pink for our nail bed color, and then this hollow sparkle for the tips. Now, I believe once this builds up, it'll be a little bit more opaque, but probably not by a ton. So the first layer I may do just the entire nail with 1 layer of pink. That way there's a little bit of a background just in case this doesn't get completely opaque. So here are the pots for those. We have numbers 132 and 237. Alright, so the way we're going to start this is I'm going to use the base. I'm going to paint it on and then pour this over into this cupcake liner, and then we'll dust that off, and then we'll do the Frenching, in which we will use this tray. And so the way you do it is you pour your dipping color in here and you just slide your finger in and it'll dip you a French, and then you pour the nail bed color after, but I'm going to demonstrate all of that. Let me just put down 1 layer of base on each one. These are actually already pre-colored tips, so I could just go over it, but I think it's going to be better if we have a little bit of consistency. As you know, I get dip flu, so I will be wearing my respirator, pardon me, while I become Darth Vader. Always make sure you go around your cuticles and scrape off any overrun before it dries. Normally I would do the apex method first, but because we're just putting down a base color, you want to make sure you get it everywhere. That's pretty good. Okay, so we're ready to move to the next step. I've dusted these off. That's a really good base layer. If you wanted to do just 1 more layer of color and call it a day, it would look great, but we want Frenches. So we're going to take this white glittery one and we're going to pour it in this container. Doesn't have to be all of it, just enough to accomplish your goal. So let's do a test. So if we slid in here, that's way too much. That's going to cover the whole nail. Let's pour some of that out. Goodness gracious. Alright, so now let's try it. So if we slide in, yeah, we can get up to about there. That's pretty good, right? Let's see about from the other angle. I think I like that curvature better, actually. It's not much different, I don't guess, but... And then you'll want to tap it and settle it between rounds. Let's set this to the side. We can always add more if we need it. So we'll have this here for our dipping. We're still going to need to pour this over, because after we dip, we'll do a pour. Got my little painting station down here. Try and scoot all this up into the frame for you. It's a tight space. Let me back it up a little bit. I don't want to back it up too much though, because then you can't see nothing. I'm going to start with this finger just because it's going to be our easiest to control. So let's do that. What we're going to do is we'll get us a layer of this base. Nice and even. I only have one of my lights on today because I'm experimenting with lighting, so if it's shadowy, I apologize. And then we'll take this and we'll slide it in here just as much as we want to the dip. So we've got that part done. And then we'll take this part and we will pour that over. Okay? So that gives us a dipped French. Don't forget, again, to check your cuticles. Make sure you're not flooding them. Yep. And I'm going to do some apexing too here in a second. So that's basically how that works. Let's do another. Nice, even coat. Slide it in. And then pour this one on. Tap off the excess, of course. Alright, so that's that. I'm going to quickly do the other two, and then we'll do the apex method. Okay, that's looking really great in my opinion for a first pass. We'll definitely do a couple more so that we can get a nice shape built up. Nice stability. I think it's looking cute. So this time we're just going to do the centers so that it gets a little bit of shape this way. And not all the way back. We want our sides to be thinner. Try and get your dips to match up your previous ones. Sorry, that pink pour was way over yonder. Yeah, so it's coming along real nice. If it's still wet after you pour over, pour some more. It's just soaking it up. Don't forget to tap your dip bowl down. Looking good. There we go. And you definitely do want to make sure that you are dusting between layers. If you go in with your next layer of base on top of a bunch of powder, it's just going to clog up your brush. Now this next layer, we are going to go over the entire nail again. Okay, so we've got 3 layers on. And it's looking pretty good. Now, we do file these after, and so that is going to cause them to get a little bit thinner. So for that reason, I think I'm going to quickly just put on one more layer, so we've got a little bit of wiggle room for that filing, but I will do that off camera since you've seen the process, and then we'll come back. Okay, so here's what we have. I have not dusted it yet, but let me go ahead and do that. So you just use the little brush. Dust off the excess. It definitely neatens it up, but you want to give it a few minutes to dry after dipping before dusting so that you don't knock off your powder that is still setting and clog your dust brush with dip glue. So that's pretty good. What do you think? Nice and sparkly. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take this file, do the sides and the ends, and then gently around the cuticles. You can do this with an e-file if you would like. I don't know why. Even when I get it out, I end up never using it. I just hand file. I guess it's crisper. If I had a lot of debulking to do, maybe I would get the e-file out, but this is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to do that real quick. And remember, at this stage, it is still soft, so you don't want to go too hard on it. Just make sure you get all the surfaces so that it is smooth. Get your undersides as well. I'd say that's a pretty decently shaped nail. Careful not to file too much. I've almost gone through this one. Look, it's got a little chipped off spot. It's really hard to do the side you can't see. Alright, so even after you get them filed though, this is not the final filing. This is just while it's soft to get most of the shape in. And then we're going to activate it before we finish filing. So I'm going to finish this filing and then we'll come back for the activator. Okay, so we've got these filed up. As you can see, they're quite rough. There's some texture there, but we've got to harden it before we continue. So we'll use this activator. And remember, activator you want to use generously. Put a whole bunch of the stuff. And don't be afraid to get more. It just soaks it up, and you really want to get all of the layers. Sometimes you might have quite a few layers, and so you want this to penetrate deeply, which is why you want a bunch. And once we've got that on here, we're going to give this a few minutes. The more minutes, the better, to be honest. Like, you can do it pretty quickly, but I'm going to give it 5 or 10, so I'll be right back. Okay, so those are hardened. Now we're going to go in and file some more to finish this smoothing and to kind of smooth that off. It's a little high. Alright, I think they look pretty good. At this point you can go in and smooth these final scratches with a buffer. I just have this one that I like to use. You don't want to do a lot because this will also file it down pretty quickly. Just give it a little once over just to smooth out the big scratches. I'm sure you can imagine we're going to have to wash our hands when we're done with this because we are dusty. And then for the final, we'll do a top coat. You want to make sure you get your top coat really smooth, really even, because what you put down with this is the way it will stay. So that's what we've got. These do take a bit of time to dry, so I'm going to give this about 10 minutes and then we'll come back and we'll talk about it. So now those are dry. I think they are looking really good. What do you think? So it's pretty simple. I'm sure that you would be able to copy or replicate, and you can do this with any color combination that you choose. Of course, I will get you some photos. I don't know how outside they're going to be because it is raining, so I may use my photo box. Either way, you'll be able to tell based on what you're seeing right now. If you want to win this kit, check the description. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a Google form. I have been thinking about it and exploring all the options, and this seems to be the best way to get accurate entries with a reliable way to contact you so that we don't have to worry about any cheating or any scammers or anything like that. I will not post in the comments that you won and to follow some alternate link or anything like that. You won't have to pay anything. I will maybe make a short of the winner. Either way, I'll be reaching out to you in your email because you will have to have an email to fill out this Google form, but that will be in there. I'm gonna run this for about 2 weeks, so you can mark your calendar. If you haven't heard from me in 2 weeks time, the actual time frames will be in the description as well. Then you'll know it wasn't you. Once I do reach out to you, and I will again probably make a short to let you know there has been a winner chosen, I'll give you about 3 days to reply back to my email. If no reply, I'll move to the next person, whatever. It's going to be random draw, so I'm going to take your entries that I collect through the Google form and then put them in a random picker, so it'll just pick one. So that's how we're going to do it. That's probably how I'm going to do a lot of my giveaways going forward, just because that seems like the best method for me. But that is it. Let me know what you think of these nails. Let me know what you think of the colors that I chose. Have you used Azure Beauty dip powder before? I have several kits of theirs. I'm actually a really big fan. I do hope that they are able to come out with some sensitive dip liquids so that maybe I won't always have to wear a respirator. If you get dip flu, wear a respirator. I'll put some links in the description for some options for that as well. So if you don't know what to use, hopefully it'll help. This is not medical advice, it's just what I do. So if you want to try it too, that's up to you. Definitely consult your doctor if you have any questions. I'm gonna let you get up out of here. Thank you again for everything, your likes, your comments, your interaction, being subscribed. It helps me, it helps the algorithm, it helps my channel. I appreciate it. And I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.